Welcome to Sunday night Jaw Harp Live, where we're playing jaw harps and mouth resonating musical instruments from around the world. Jaw harp, for those of you who are new, who are just scrolling through, is a musical instrument that has a plucked reed or tongue where it creates a spectrum of overtones, and when played in the mouth, they resonate. See, listen to what it sounds like just by itself. This is just the instrument. There's no electrical connections to it. It's all 100% acoustic. Put it up against your mouth. Emily Dobbs, share the live. Oh, thank you for the share. Thank you for sharing. Good evening, Pat Pearson. How's the harping? I've been harping on my new Ovcharenko I got in, and also a little bit on the drumla or drummel. That was a drummel from Czech Republic by Sisolka. Anytime I really want to hammer on a harp, this is probably my go-to. That or a drone. I have been playing a bit on the forged Wimmer. Now the bent Wimmer were not quite my style, but the forged, like the A1, is pretty flexible. It's not as clean as some of my other harps, but to a good way, if that makes sense. Firestarter 10 says, what is that instrument called? Jaw harp, mouth harp, or Jew's harp would be a good broad term for it, kind of like the term drum. The term drum is a broad term for many types of struck instruments, and there are a ton of variations and cultures across the world. Same thing with the jaw harp. It's a really old style musical instrument. So this one in particular, this style in particular, is from Austria. This is a maltrommel, although they're found all over Asia, Pacific Islands, in many cultures around the world. Here's a maltrommel. I believe in German it kind of translates roughly to mouth fiddle. I'm going to start by playing it muted, and then I'll take the mute off, which is my finger, and then you'll see the difference in the sound. Your name's funny. I can't say that name, but yes. Can I go crazy for a good minute? Yeah, sure. You want me to get weird? I'll get weird. There, that was a good minute of going crazy, and it does kind of begin to alter your consciousness, breathing repetitively like that. Let's go over to a different country. We're going to do a few harps from around the world. This is a Norwegian manapa. I'm probably not saying it correctly, but it's a wedge fixed instrument. Oftentimes are very melodic. This one was made by Iverson out of Norway. It has a very clean bell ring. Meaning It also is really responsive to me opening and closing my glottis. Listen to what happens when I play glottis open, breathing, and glottis close, not breathing. And I can start to kind of bounce off that open and close breathing pattern. Wake Up says, this is how techno really started. You want to get techno a little bit? I'm not a very good techno player. Let's go from Norway. Let's go over to India, specifically Rajasthan, India. There are some really awesome harps that come out of Rajasthan. Here's one. Master Rokaram makes it. His Peacock Morchang. His brother also makes a Peacock Morchang. His brother's Peacock Morchang are probably louder, although the Gokara are very draw startable. They're not as clean sounding, but you have this added effect where the reed is positioned slightly in front of the frames there. So the resting position is in front. So when I breathe in, it tries to spring forward so it makes it sound. Now the trade-off in this is the harp won't be as clean. It won't have a more perfect bell ring, but it does have that draw starting ability. And let's listen to that, because you can keep the harp rolling with just the draw start. Because you'd only breathe in so much until you have to breathe out. So you'll see me bringing my lips off of it to breathe out without slowing the harp down. That's an easy one to get lost in. I drift way in outer space on that one. That's the Gokara. That's the Morchang from out of Rajasthan. Gokara and Veera and his son Veera make it. Gokara is about 80 years old, and I'm not sure what Veera is, probably 40s or 50s. Okay, let's play his brother's harp. This is a Mohan. This is his brother, Mohan Lal Lohar, out of Rajasthan. Are you constantly moving your air as you play? Says Bert Robles. Well, Bert Robles, that is a very good question, because the answer is yes and no. It depends on what I was doing there. There are times where I'm holding my breath. Listen to me holding breath. There I'm just moving my mouth, moving my tongue up and down. So it has a very hollow sound. Now listen to what happens when I start breathing in and out. I'm going to do that same exact technique. There's a breathing. As your tongue goes up, pitch goes up. As your tongue drops down, pitch goes down, because your mouth is the acoustical resonating chamber. So by dropping your tongue down, like you're saying the word low, bowl, say that aloud. Low, bowl. Pay attention to what happens to your tongue. Your tongue goes down. It makes a deep dish. It makes a bowl so that your mouth cavity gets larger. When you say the word like knee, tree, say it aloud. Pay attention to what happens to your tongue. Knee, tree. The tongue is higher up in the mouth. Instead of being lower down like a bowl, it's higher up like this. And when you're like la 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 la, that all of those things are changing your acoustical resonating chamber. So here's low and bowl. Tongue's low, making a bowl. Here's knee and tree. Here's la 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 la. And then where does the tongue go when you are breathing and hitting the high notes? When I'm breathing and hitting the high notes, sometimes I'm breathing in and out, opening and closing my glottis. And glottis is like when you say the words kitten and mitten without saying the T with your tongue. Kitten and mitten. It happens down here. It's a glottal stop. There's me opening and closing my glottis. So anytime I'm breathing in and out, that's with my glottis open. Whenever I go, whenever I close that, and I can do it without vocalizing, just opening and closing the glottis here. Those are closed glottis. So here is breathing. Here is with my glottis closed, same thing. Here is me opening and closing my glottis, breathing in and out. And when I go up, I let my tongue go up. Listen to the tongue going up. You're probably referring to that thing I did. If you can be breathing and opening and closing your glottis with your tongue high, and then go la 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 without vocalizing while doing that. Then if you go start adding T noses with opening and closing the glottis, and with that, that's the tip of your tongue touching the roof of your mouth. I keep the sides of my tongue up high. And experiment around. There's no right or wrong way to improvise. So when you notice when your tongue goes up, just the tip of your tongue, it makes a different tone than if your tongue's up and the back of it's bold, or if the back of it starts dropping down. It all changes it. Let's just hear. I'm gonna take this harp for a spin. We're gonna go out. We're gonna make a whole bunch of different overtones and drift around, and just hear all the subtle nuances. Because there are times where it feels like when you're like, if you were to like go, you're kind of resonating a little bit in, I think, what is your sinus. If you do that same thing with the harp, you're using your sinus cavities, it changes the what the harp's going to do as well. So all of it are already tools that you're already using, only you're not using your vocal cords, that you're just resonating the instrument. So our mouths, our noses, our throats, they're all good acoustical resonating chambers. So let's take this Mohan out for a spin. That's an easy harp to get lost in. That's Rajasthani Morchang. Let's go to another part of the world. Let's go on over to Ukraine. Here is a Ukrainian drimba. This one's by Ovcharenko. And he's going to be making more of these. He's going to be making them with an imitation horn handle. This one, I've been wearing this one a lot because it looks cool too. But also playing it because it's a really fantastic instrument. I don't know the exact note, so if you know the note or the resonant frequency of this harp, you can tell by ear or with an app. Shout at the bottom. I didn't check it. A lot of the Ob Trinker were like untuned for meditation. However, he does do tuned ones. You sell those on the website. I got one as a test and I was blown away by it. So yes, I do have some of these. Obtrenko's making a handful of them. He's got to get this carbolite material and then carve it into a horn, but it's really cool. Anyways, enough about the harp. Well, let's get into it. Kenny CUH shared the live. Oh, thank you for sharing. Somebody else shared the live too. Oh, thank you for all the shares. Very cool. What harp should we play next? We probably have time for a harp or two more. Should we get like really, really bassy? I got a bass harp, an untuned bass harp, an untuned Shipanov in the 0 octave. Let's check that out. Let's keep going down in pitch. We've done some mid-rangey harps, some higher pitch harps. The Mohan was getting up there, I think, into the 3rd-ish octave. Let's go into the 0 octave. I think this is somewhere around maybe G1 or A1 or G sharp or A sharp, untuned of the 0 octave. So it's not like an A, like a one harp, even an A in the 1 octave. B. Let's see if I have one. Had one. No, that's a C2 sharp. Don't have it at the moment. Oh, there it is. Here's like an A1. Here is something down near the 0 octave. So that was a single octave. Here is one in the 0 octave. Ooh, how do you do the growl, says Bert Robles. Good questions. Same thing as snoring. If you like snore, you can snore inward, you can snore outward. Listen to this. And this time of year, if you have allergies or you're congested, it aids to better snarling or what I call a catfish noise. Because I used to catch English is hard. I used to catch catfish, and when you pull them out, they'd make this noise like. It's that same thing, that same part of the mouth. That's how the catfish talks. That's why I call it catfish noises. If you're breathing a lot, take my advice and keep a beverage handy. I went up on stage at a bar before to play, and I didn't bring a beverage, and there was no air conditioning in the bar. My mouth dried out pretty quickly, and the music wasn't as good. I just couldn't flow. It was too uncomfortable. So always keep a beverage handy if you're going to be doing repeated breathing when playing a jaw harp. Yeah, just finding beverages help a lot. Yes, and I would say don't drink anything sweet or any pop or juice or anything when you're playing the harps, because those are sticky things that they get on your harps. And also, especially pop, soda, whatever you want to call it, those are corrosive things, so they'll change the color of your harps pretty quick. I'll drink like a session IPA or a regular IPA, but just stay away from this super acidic. If you're gonna drink a beer, don't drink a sour. The sours will you'll see the effects of the sour on their finish. Gonna be breathing in and out, some open, closed glottis. Now listen to me when I'm playing, holding my breath and doing that same exact thing. Whee 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 whee. Bro found a way to communicate with the catfish. Yeah, the catfish will communicate with you. Spiders will also communicate with you. So will toads. So will birds. So will rabbits, dogs, horses, cats communicate with you too. Yeah, pretty much any animal will communicate with you. A snake sometimes insects will communicate with you. They sometimes spiders will do threat displays. Yeah, all animals communicate. I wouldn't say that, but yeah, you can kind of see what they're saying if you just watch them. One of the most awesome times in my life was actually when I spent 45 minutes watching a house spider try to kill a large cricket it caught in its web, and the spider sat on its back legs and in the web and took pieces of its web off of itself and kept sticking it to the cricket, and the cricket kept trying to get away, and had my face down there watching it the whole time. And it took 45 minutes before the spider actually won, and I didn't realize that spiders put that much work sometimes into procuring a meal. I was like, it was like watching a kung fu match, because you have this giant cricket and then this little spider that keeps tying it up with webs when it keeps trying to get away. It was really transcendental to watch. So yeah, I enjoy communicating with animals or watching animals, and also, yeah, just spending time with animals because they're very cool. Even especially like spiders. Everybody's so scared of spiders. Here in Kansas, there aren't many poisonous spiders, so most spiders aren't harmful. They're just there to eat bugs. So I like watching them. One time I had a grass spider, which looks like a wool spider, but it's a little bit smaller. They have the two white stripes down their back. They get pretty big, about that big, the circumference of their legs. I had one time I was down on the floor talking to, and it did like this crazy little dance for me. And I was like, wow, thank you, spider. Spiders are cool. Somebody shared the live. Oh, cool. Thank you. Burt Roble says, give him a little Dan Moy action. I'll play one more harp. Dan Moy seems in order. Actually, I'll give you a choice. I have like the standard bass or mid-range double tongue Dan Moy, or I have a hand-carved Hmong harp from Vietnam. Which do you want to hear? The double tongue Dan Moy, pretty good, really affordable, widely available. The Hmong harp, kind of expensive. Well, I'd say really expensive. It cost me about as much as some of the Akut Homus I bought, but there is a difference in the quality of the craftsmanship. Hand carved. Okay, this is the Hmong harp. I don't know the maker's name. Got this through Steve Kindwald. And it's hand carved. It's thick. It's got a natural curve to it. This is all hand done. The damo you see like this and like this, these are made on a machine, but I think some of it is done by hand. But this was a totally handmade harp, and it came with this cool. Instead of the regular carpeted version, it came with a bamboo holder, and it's even notched for it to slide in. It has a correct way it slides in. Let's see what it sounds like. Says, I shared to my buddy he's wanting to learn how to play the jar. Oh, cool. Nice. Thank you for sharing the live. The double bass. It's just one hit, and it's two tongues. Let's listen to like the more mass-produced Dan Moy. I'm I feel more comfortable going aggressive with the mass-produced Dan Moy because if I break it, I'm not out a bunch of money. Because Dan Moy, they are just brass. It will fatigue eventually. If you play it hard, it's going to break. It's going to deform. So if you get a Dan Moy, make sure you learn how to correct it when it will deform. Because playing it really aggressively, especially single reed ones, which seem a little bit thinner, they eventually deform off to one side. So you got to be able to correct that. Here's the double tongue one. Didgeridoo. Cloud says didgeridoo. Close. Didgeridoo is like a it would be a wind instrument from Australia, also referred to, I think, as the yidaki. The term didgeridoo just means dream, which they are also instruments that I say can alter your consciousness. But yeah, that's an overtone instrument. This is also an overtone instrument. This is a jaw harp. Specific style would be a Vietnamese Dan Moi. Anyways, we'll wrap it up with that. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more harpery. Make sure to keep your harps clean, keep them dry, and keep them oiled. And most of all, be good to each other. I love y'all. Have a wonderful Sunday evening. Harp out. We'll end playing a Gorkara or a Gorkara tailless. Then we'll wrap up the live. I'll see y'all next Sunday night on Sunday Night Jaw Harp Live. Goodbye.